Welcome to the Seed Creative Podcast, the podcast where we discuss both video production and just life in general. The goal of this podcast is the same as the goal of our business, to make a difference in people's lives.
Hey, and welcome to the Seed Creative Podcast. You're probably surprised to see me. I'm the host of this episode. I'm Nicholas Coker. I work at Seed, but you don't see me on the podcast very often. But I'm here, and I'm glad to be back. We have some other gentlemen with us today. Who are you people?
I'm wondering who you're talking to right now.
Talking to...
We are... I'm Seth.
Yeah.
Seth Farmer. You've probably heard of me.
Yes.
You've heard tales of me?
This is Reagan.
I'm Reagan.
Yeah.
And we have a media company called Uriel Media. Yes.
Cool. Uriel Media.
You'll find our business
It's right
card
there.
attached to
Yeah,
It's very small.
their shrine over here.
It is. Yes. They are the seed implanted
Ooh.
in seed.
Oh, cool. The implanted word.
We're birthed
The
within.
implanted word.
Awesome. I like that.
Right.
We're buddies?
Yeah, we're all three very good friends, and like they just said, they run a media company as well, and so we're very happy to have them here today to just talk about what we do. So tell us about your company.
Sure. Well, it's very small.
Cripplingly small.
It's like Apple One level small.
Oh, yeah. 2 people, 3 people.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes 2, sometimes 3. But
There's a garage very near us. We're not working in the garage.
right,
anymore.
we're next to the garage.
We are in the basement.
We're just client-based media video production company. You know, we just try to serve people. That's sort of what we're doing right now. We have some long-term goals and plans and visions that will probably
Unleash at the proper time.
or never come to pass. One of those. But no, we just try to serve people. We do a lot of work with churches, but
Yeah.
basically our whole thing is, hey, if you need a video, let us work with you. We're going to try to put a lot of artistry into it, and we're going to try to really help you tell a story with it. That's kind of our thing.
Mm-hmm.
But that's kind of your thing too. So maybe it's not our thing.
Maybe we should join forces.
Maybe our
Well, we tend to, I think, just naturally go to the documentary form. I think we naturally are going to try and kind of use that, and a little less production and a little more
I didn't know
raw
that.
and honest.
I didn't know that.
You didn't know that? Anyway, that's what we do. I
That
don't know
being
if
said,
you were aware.
I can definitely see that like in the work that y'all do.
Oh, thanks.
It definitely shows.
It's kind of the world we came out of.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's talk about that. You know, what's y'all's kind of history in the world of video and video production?
Well, I worked in news for a long time, local news, and I was a technical director there. It was kind of both, and that sounds more important than it is, because in the film world or video world, director is kind of the guy. It's not really in TV and news, but I was a guy who pressed all the buttons and switched cameras and stuff.
It looked very stressful when I saw you do
It was stressful.
Mm-hmm.
It was. I'm glad I got out of it, but it was good for me. But anyway, I was doing that for a while, and I just realized I don't want to be doing this. I want to do something more creative, because news is the same thing every day, especially production. If you're reporting and you're on the actual news side, different stories every day, that's cool. And you're writing, that can be fun. But on production, it's the same thing every single day. The same shots, same camera setups. And I just realized, you're a creative person. You need to find something where you can be more creative, because you're going to be a lot happier if you're doing that. Because I wasn't very happy there. Anyway, so luckily there was this video production in this place in the same building. The same building as the news station. The floor above it was a video production house. So I walked up there and I said, "Can I have an internship?" And they said, "Sure."
He climbed the stairs. There's this long glass railing staircase. You ascend it upwards. It was awesome.
Sure.
It was legendary.
Anyway, but I was working there for a few months, and just I was really. It's one of those moments in your life where you are burning the candle at both ends, and you're just giving it everything you have. Because I was working news, I was working the internship,
Oh, wow.
I was going to school at the time too. So that's that's literally no free time.
Yeah.
But sometimes in life I don't know. There are times in life when you're being molded into something new, you're going through a metamorphosis, and the cocoon
Chrysalis.
the chrysalis. Yeah, you're breaking out of the chrysalis.
I remember we were doing a school project together, and we'd work on that till like 11 p.m. after working until 5. And I just kind of started to realize you just don't stop, and you'd always be the last to leave, even when you were an intern. And it was just like,
That's
this
true.
guy have a life.
Right.
And didn't you have like 500 sick hours or whatever?
I had
off?
400 sick hours by the time.
Awesome.
Yeah, I never took them.
Sick
I regret
hours,
that.
wow.
I don't think that was totally healthy. But anyway, so I started working at this video production place, and they offered me a job graciously because I was just like, I was giving it my all because I wanted to change my life and move into a different career. I started working there professionally, and that's really where I got to know Reagan. We had known each other before. We worked on some short film sets, very bad ones.
Very bad. Now, I was the chief architect of the bad part of that film set. So, it's all on me.
No. But we got to really know each other there, and we bonded most deeply over Star Wars.
Yes.
But we started working on projects professionally, and also we had some classes together. Well, we had one class together. We made a documentary, and we just found out that we really work well together. And I think all of our best work has always been with each other.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yep.
It's you just kind of start to learn in this kind of world where those partnerships are very rare. You just got to hold on when you find one. So,
Which you didn't do for a time.
I didn't do that for a time. But I came back. Prodigal son story in a nutshell.
So Seth, you really started to pursue video once you were an adult. You know, it was in adulthood that you started that. Now, was this different for you?
It was a little different. I have weird, strange memories as a kid where I definitely always liked video. I had this memory where I would play with my Legos, and my dad, for some reason, he had a Palm Pilot, which I don't think it was the one that flipped open. You had the stylus. This one was advanced. It had the whole keyboard on there.
Oh, wow. It's
And
like a proto BlackBerry.
Yeah, and it had about 50 megabytes of recording space, and that was just enough. And I remember I could turn it sideways and it'd go, and it would just like record. And I remember once, me and Brian made a movie, my brother, and it was a couple years old. And I remember I deleted it by accident to make space for something else, and he was really hurt by it. But making movies and stuff was always like a fun way for friends to hang out, but I didn't take it very seriously. I was interested in computer science. But then looking into colleges and stuff, I went to a computer science meeting, and everybody in the room was like asleep, and I was like, this is boring. And around the same time, or the same epoch in my life, I was working at a church with my dad works at a church, so I'd be hanging out there, and I saw my youth pastor running around with a DSLR, and I went, "Good sir, why are you taking photos at such rapid speed?" And he said, "No, good sir, I'm taking video." And at that time, I'd only seen kind of the larger camcorder, kind of the bigger, like you have it up in the balcony, you get the shot of the pastor, that's it. And I went, wait, you can just take it and run and make a thing, and have fun with friends? And that's what it was for me. It was a way to hang out with friends. And it only at the end of my high school career did I go, I want to make movies. And then I did them in college, and it was a complete failure.
No.
Well, I enjoyed the shooting element of it, and that was a blast. But then really started to realize, Hollywood, all this stuff, I don't really know if I'm cut out for that. I don't really know if I can make it there. But maybe doing client work, that could be really fun. And I could still bring that kind of visual storytelling to that. And so that's kind of how I've crystallized into this bizarre form I am now.
He's being pretty modest. He was everyone in film school always wanted to work with him because he was a good shooter and a good visual storyteller.
I remember that when I was there. I remember seeing Reagan stuff and just being like, this guy is actually good. And I remember looking at his website after he graduated. It was one of our professors brought it up in class. It was in kind of a sort of a professional development class, and yeah, we looked at Reagan's website. I said, wow, why do I even try?
I created quite the shrine to myself on the internet that has been comfortably deleted. Now, I remember when we first collaborated on a project. Do you remember this?
When you say collaborate, I remember being on the same project together.
I think you're understanding what I'm saying.
I think so.
We were both volunteers for this high school or middle school film education program.
Yes.
And bizarrely, this group of, frankly, unformed, undeveloped tadpoles of humans made this film called Robot and the Trash Can.
Yes.
Very simple premise. It was about a mad scientist who brought life to his computer robot lady, but somehow unexplained. It's very artfully done. The trash can is also imbued with
It's
thought
brought
as
to
well.
life.
The trash can comes to life.
Yes.
And I remember at the time, I was helping them shoot it, helping them do that, and it was just a whirlwind. But then you edited it, and it was like this like noir, like crazy science fiction serial film with like epic music. And
Basically
I was like,
Blade Runner.
basically Blade Runner. Basically, it made me question my own humanity and what does it mean to live and exist. Could even a trash can be a person? So anyway, I remember seeing that and going, this guy's a great editor. Anyway, and I've admired you from afar. But
You're
now
too
I'm here.
kind. I definitely remember, that was kind of an invisible collab there because we
Very
never
invisible.
interacted with each other on that. And then I remember seeing you at Black Warrior Film Festival. That's the University of Alabama's film festival. And it's like you were just like really excited to see me. And he was like, hello, good sir. You edited that film. And I said, yes, I did.
You did. You brought life to a dead husk of a project.
So it is possible
It's
to
possible.
bring life to a trash can.
It is. Wow.
Oh, wow.
Stories within stories, webs within webs, truth within truths.
Sublime.
Awesome.
But I actually remember earlier than that because another thing that happened at Black Warrior Film Festival that year, that specific one, was a film called The Death of Breakfast. And
That's
Yeah.
right.
I was
Yeah.
responsible for that one.
he was responsible for
He's
that.
held accountable for this one.
It was a great little film. Now, is that the only narrative you've directed?
Technically, no. I mean, I would say that I've directed. It's my only film I've directed, but
Okay.
doing some ads here, like that Mississippi ad, I
Yeah.
directed that, and I've co-directed with you, but it's the only one of my own.
I gotcha.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thankfully.
Thankfully.
Mercifully.
Well, it was a great film. I remember just
Thank
it
you.
was really well done, really well shot. Reagan was the DP on that, and it was fun. It was funny.
Good time.
And I remember how I got involved in that. Was Seth reached out to me. We were friends at this point, and I just got a text from him that was like, "Hey, don't you act?" And I said, "Yes, I act." He said, "You want to be in my film?" I said, "Yeah." And I also just want to be on a set. And so
Was that your first set?
I think
As an
I
actor?
think it was. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Because you
Cool.
came from a theater world.
Yes, I'm a theater background, and the first time we ever met was in a class earlier that year. It was a multicam class, and I was a double major in theater and film, and that was about the point where I said, okay, I'm going to stop focusing on theater so much, focus more on film. That was the first semester I was doing that. And it was a multicam class, and pretty wide variety of people in there, just in terms of who was taking it seriously, who wasn't. And I remember Seth stuck out to me because he was taking it so seriously, and he had a good eye for quality, and just like had the nerve to like speak up to say like, this needs to be better. We need
Yeah.
to do a better job.
It's got me in trouble
It did, yeah,
many times.
But I really admired it because I remember we were wanting to make a film in that class for some reason, and it was just this like really half-baked and cynical, weird
Typical
thing.
student film.
Yeah,
Just so dark and so strange and no story.
yeah,
More about shock value than
Yes.
storytelling.
Exactly. And I remember that coming up and just thinking, this is not good, but like I feel like I can't say anything. And Seth just spoke up. He's just
Yeah.
like, this is not going to be good, y'all. And I from that moment I was like, respect.
Seth is a big truth sayer.
A big truth.
I always respect
I try
that.
to be. Try to be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just film. We all came together in films. I barely want to say film school because I don't know if the film program could be called film school at the school we went to. But
Wow.
anyway, it's just it's almost less about technical skill. Although Reagan was very skilled shooting, I didn't know anything. I had to learn it all because I was coming from news.
Yeah.
But the people who came together, I think, all of us, we cared about storytelling.
Yeah.
Really. I think that's what it comes down to.
Definitely.
We love movies, love good stories. And Nicholas, I remember connecting with you we were some of the only people who liked old movies or cared
Yeah.
about old. And when I say old, I mean, even like 80s is old compared to a lot of the kids, the students. Because I remember just being struck by a lot of these people don't even seem to care about movies.
Yeah.
They care about TV or social media stuff. And anyway, so long story short, we all connected over a love for films and a real interest in actual storytelling, I would say.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. So I remember, the people I connected with at the university the most were the people I could just say, "What's your favorite movie?" and they would have an answer. And
Well, I'm more into streaming.
yeah, you got a lot of that. But yeah, I mean, I just think you guys and our other friends. That's the number one thing that unites us all. And that being said, what are y'all's favorite movies?
Star Wars. A New
Star
Hope
Wars.
is probably my number one.
Yeah.
That's just... I just have such fond memories of watching that on VHS.
Mm-hmm.
And rewatching it, breaking that movie down. That's just the movie I probably fell in love with first. And I love it today because it's so unpolished and so quirky. There's nothing else like that movie.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I was hoping you were going to say this one, so I can say it. I'd probably say The Matrix.
The Matrix.
Oh, really?
I don't like choosing one, but the very tyrannical producer of this podcast, who will not be named in this direction, he said make sure they only pick one. So anyway, I'll say The Matrix. That film to me was just a really cool idea. It was both spiritual and just awesome. A lot of cool gunfights, but more than that,
Black leather
was really important for me as just like, when you're shooting a film, it doesn't have to just be over the shoulder. Every moment can be an artistic decision.
Yes.
And every shot can be this moment where you can do something new and can contribute to the story. And so that was just, I probably got a lot of favorite films now, but that one really contributed to the intentionalness that shooting, editing, and all that can bring to a story and make it not just a story, but because The Matrix for me is not just a story, it's this world. It's this kind of, there's a feeling I get when I think about it. And the music I hear and a visual style I just immediately think of. And it's more than just a movie to me. So it's cool.
Something Reagan's very good at is, how do I take what's happening in the story and represent it visually?
Yeah.
He's really good at that. Way better than I am. And that probably comes from rewatching The Matrix all the time.
Do it every day. I remember it was just like I would watch it just because I was at that point where I still got like a lot of chills when watching movies. I got chills. You probably just got chills hearing that. Chills.
ASMR.
Oh.
Anyway, but just like when bullet time happened, I just went, no one has ever tried to do this since, and there's just something there, and I'd be like, this moment to me was just never seen anything like it, and it was just the story is being told through this awesome $1 million camera trickery. It's just awesome.
Yep. What's your favorite movie?
Yeah.
The Apartment.
The Apartment's probably my favorite movie. Cool. But I will speak on that just learning to see how the how to tell the story visually. I think what really opened my mind in that regard, I'll actually mention a different movie. It's 2001: Space Odyssey, because I always usually cite Raiders of the Lost Ark as the movie that made me want to make movies, and that was as simple as I saw it a summer where it got a new DVD release, and it was the same time Lego Indiana Jones was a thing. And I said, I'll just make some stop motion of this.
Cool.
That's what got me started. But awesome. I think what really got me thinking on the next level about films was 2001.
Cool.
Because it's pretty unconventional. It's just sort of this like you were saying, how Matrix is not just over the shoulder shot, reverse shot. 2001 is the same way. And it gets to the point where, what you're seeing through how it's shot, how it's edited.
Yeah.
It even becomes, you can make something else out of it. It's I've read the book as well now. I read it about a year ago, and they're just really two different pieces.
Whole different works of art.
Yeah,
That's
and
awesome.
it's really cool. And yeah, it just, like I said, just opened my mind, and it got me thinking about that. If we were to do this, how can we make it essentially cinematic?
It's a really good thing, especially for DPs, to see. That movie was really influential for me too. But as a DP, I had the biggest flaw when I made movies of it'd be visual first. And what would happen there would be I would get attached to these directors who maybe didn't have any skill shooting or had no idea about anything about cinematic language, and I would go, well, what if for this intense dialogue scene we replaced the table with glass and we shot through it so we could see how trapped the female protagonist was? And they go, awesome. And of course I watch that now and I go, these decisions were just kind of flexes for me. Sure. I was just making choices that just seemed to make sense, but I was kind of forcing what I was interested in into the story. And most of the directors were pretty weak-willed, if I'm being honest. And I could easily overthrow them and shadow direct because I'm a control freak. But then with Seth, it was an interaction where I went, oh, this guy actually knows the cinematic language, and so I can't just BS whatever idea I want. And he's going to hold me accountable for ideas. And actually, Death at Breakfast, back to that briefly, it was not like, because usually I'd be like, okay, you're going to write your script, and I'm going to do this story. The shot was by myself, and I'll just... And you were the first person who was like, no, we're going to do that together. And I already know what it's going to look like. And I went, but where do I come in? Anyway, it was the first time I went, there's an actual collaboration where a storyteller, I'm a role in their machine rather than me trying to build my own kingdom and pull your story into it. So it was cool.
And I can speak, as a director and having worked with DPs, all of whom are in the room. But yeah, that relationship is honestly, I think, the most important on the set. Is just having that good collaboration between the director and DP. And Seth shot my first 2 films, and I remember I just really admired how he would do, kind of what you're talking about, where I would have that vision, I would know what shots I wanted to get, and his whole thing was just stepping forward to make sure it was better. And that was a matter of, even if I said, no, we need to get this, he would say, no, I'm telling you, we don't need to get that. We need to do it this way instead. And in the moment, it might have been frustrating, even all the way to when I got to the edit, and it was just like, oh God, why did he want to do it this way? But it's, in the end, I was glad he did step forward and do that.
In my experience, the DP and director relationship they're the 2 artists on set. I'm being really mean now, but actors, artists, they're just, what does George Lucas say? They're cattle?
Well,
no, I don't mean that. I'm just kidding.
Everybody's important on set.
Just kidding.
But
there's something
that's
there
the movie right there.
Where
that's the movie.
In whispered conversations with the DP and director, I go, we're making things, and then there's a whole army of bureaucrats going, we don't have time. There's a child on set. They have to be gone in 5 minutes. And I just go, don't you know I'm setting up a slider over here? Right. Don't you know I need to backlight them? Don't you understand my artistic priorities? So anyway, those are the conversations where I went, this is a fun place to be. Everything else about those film sets I didn't really enjoy very much.
Yeah. So in taking what y'all have learned from working on these student film sets and working on just fun narrative projects, how do you apply that to the work you're doing now, which is more client based and more documentary based? How does that influence and carry over to that, I guess, sort of more practical work that y'all do?
Sure. Well, I'm a big believer in, whatever the project is, even if it seems boring and like it's a waste of time, you can pull something out of it, and you can do something artistic with it. And I've definitely been tested by that very belief before. I've been lazy, and I've hated projects before, and I hate getting notes sometimes, or all the time. But I don't like notes. But
who does?
You don't get to have an opinion. You paid me for my opinion.
Honestly, but anyway, a big part of our company, a big part of just our beliefs, I think, is that you don't have to go to Hollywood or Netflix to be artistic.
Yeah.
There are people, local people, businesses, those people have stories too. Everybody's got a story. Everybody has something that needs to be told and needs the time of an artist to help flesh out. So I just try to apply the storytelling techniques and the artistry techniques to something that may seem boring, like a promo video or a video for a website or something like that. Yeah.
And it's inherently a dignifying thing. You get these people who probably, if they were to get a video, it's a quick, TV ad or something, but you can say, no, why do you do this?
Yeah.
Part of what I enjoy so much about it is you get to have really unguarded conversations with people and walks of life that you would probably never, ever get to talk to. But there is something there where, for me, a wheel clicked. Wheels don't click. Something clicked.
Key.
And the key turned. And there was something about I realized, because there was something in my mind where documentaries and ads, they're not meant to look good. They just don't.
Yeah.
But then I realized, no, if I bring my best work to it, I bring that kind of same, how would I shoot this if it was a movie? What if we brought that to our client work? And so that was just, that was a big thing. And it was immediately clear that was just that alone, and seeing the work you guys do. I think we're very similar as companies in a lot of ways.
Definitely. That
kind of work is inherently disruptive to this industry, because there's just a lot of people who don't do that. For instance, people who, I'm not saying anyone specifically, but abhor weddings, who go, weddings, oh my gosh, weddings are so boring. But I just go, we just had fun.
Yeah.
It's a blast, and it's just fun because we're trying to enter into their world, tell their story, and maybe even encourage them, make them happy about their day.
I mean, if a wedding's a beautiful thing,
Yeah.
it deserves some artistry.
Spiritual union.
Yeah.
So anyway,
it
it's that kind of narrative excitement to tell stories is something that we've tried to guard in our work. And like you said, it's easy to get cynical, easy to get lazy, especially when you're on the third round of notes. You go, oh my gosh.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's frustrating.
What's difficult is when you think you're on the same page with a client about that kind of artistry, and they kind of see your work as kind of this puzzle that can just be, well, it can be arranged in just all these different ways, and like we just go, no, just pieces. But we need to extend a lot more grace to them as well, because we're serving them.
Exactly.
We serve them.
There's a balance I'm not always good at. You do have to balance your artistic integrity with serving them. You have to. You can't just give them everything they want, because they're not the video person. They don't know everything.
It was like a parent and a child.
I guess.
There's just an inherent relationship that, well, I'm not saying we're the parent, they're
Who's
the
the
child. the child. But I guess I just mean, in that relationship, there are rules that govern that it might be easiest to give them what they want. It might be easy for you to just do what they want, or for them to get exactly what they want. But it's like, no, we're both trying to help each other here.
Yeah.
It's not right to do that way.
Yeah. And I can speak, as someone who's interested in comedy and making, things that are humorous. I think it's in today's world, you almost see, because talking about, inserting that artistry into these works that don't necessarily ask for it directly, I tend to see the more creative, cinematic comedy in ads and stuff like that. It just like think about like the Old Spice, I'm on a horse commercials. Like that level of using the medium to create the humor is above pretty much all the movie comedies you see these days.
That's true.
It's because there's just an insane amount of money put into them, and that to me has been a bit of a struggle. And I might Seth probably gonna roll his eyes at this, but there's just like part of my background before working with you was just kind of in like a bit of an ad agency situation, and in a place where, there are people who will happily smile and give you $10,000 budgets to shoot your Coke can or whatever. But then really stepping back from that and realizing there are ads every day. We have 10,000 ads we see, literally images trying to sell us. And so there is, it's not just service. It's not just using artistic abilities to promote something or help someone, but there is a soul behind it. There is an intention, maybe even a spiritual thing that I find lacking in a lot of just kind of made for TV ads, or made for, those 15-second YouTube ads you can't wait to skip. And I just go, because I think there's a lot of instinct for me as a shooter to go, oh, I want to go in a place where I get to play with lights all day and just shoot wherever they want. I don't care. But working with Seth is kind of go, no, the story is king, and also service is king. And those are two things that maybe are not as present in the multi-million-dollar advertising,
I would say so.
petrodollar scheme.
Probably. Why would I roll my eyes at that?
I don't know. I say it a lot.
Okay.
I've said it before.
Oh, all right.
Anyway.
I agree.
No.
So, y'all seem to have just a really great direction and, mission that you have with your company, especially for one as young as y'all's. So with that being said,
some of us are young.
True. With that,
You guys.
with that being said, where are you looking to take Uriel? What's, maybe you mentioned some long-term goals. Would you like to share some of those?
Sure.
With us?
There are two. Well, there's three. Buy a mini fridge is one.
That's good. I can help you out there.
Okay.
Oh, very
cool.
good.
The two big ones, and I guess goal is the right word, but things we want to do. Sure, goal. But it's very important to me to grow the business to a place to hire other people, and it's not really about getting more business and getting more money. It's honestly not. It's more about, I'm so grateful to have the opportunity to have this place where I can be my own boss, and Reagan's his own boss because he is a part owner. He's not just an employee. He owns less than me though, and I never let him forget that.
Very key.
But no, anyway, it's not just about it's not just about money. It's about, I'm so lucky to have this place where I can be independent and I can set my own schedule. I don't have to worry about the headache of HR and all that stuff. That's a beautiful thing. It's a place where you can be creative and you can set your own rules and like all the stuff we're talking about where you can be artistic. And there's not a lot of places like that. Looks like Seed, by all accounts, is a lot like that too.
Oh yeah,
Definitely.
And that's amazing. I mean, I remember now I'm saying this, but I think Seed was always in the back of my mind, just going, well, look at what they made. Yeah. They started with nothing. Look at what they made.
Yeah.
They started with a seed.
They started with a seed, and it grew, and it's in the same town.
Yeah.
So why not? Why can't we try that? But anyway, the video entertainment, film industry, whatever you want to call it, it's very trendy. And if you're a young artist, young filmmaker, and maybe you don't want to go along with those trends, it can be very tough. Like if, just an example.
What trends are you referring to?
Just, not to get specific, but film festivals, film studios, they're interested. Certain stories get really hot, and then they will reward people who are interested in those stories and pursue telling certain stories. And maybe you're just not interested in those.
Yeah.
Maybe, and in the worst case scenario, maybe those stories, maybe you actually disagree with them in some way. So it can be tough. It can be a tough market to be in if you're kind of the square peg round hole, So it's very important to me to grow the business, to offer a place for other people to come who were kind of like us. We don't really fit in. You were much more in the ad world than I was. I was just more in the, just
pseudo art film, terrible film world.
I wasn't going to say that. I mean, I was going to say I was working for a university, but no, you were pretty in the thick of the ad world, and you were unhappy by it. You were unfulfilled spiritually, I guess. Anyway, all I'm saying is it's very important to have a place where other people can come.
Yeah.
And we can offer that to them. So want to grow it, to have a place like that. And then also, we still have a lot of ideas for original content, and I would like to grow the brand enough to have a space to where we can actually start sharing things that we're interested in. Service is awesome, but to be perfectly honest, that's something Reagan has taught me, the value of service. I'm always much more of the, here's what I have to say, and I would like you to hear it, which, that could be healthy, but you have to balance them. But anyway, I would like at some point, we've got to get to a point where we can actually do things we're interested in and do some original stuff.
And that can be service as well, honestly. And I remember that's something you affected me by saying, was, you asked me, you told me you need to make content for other people. And talking about just the narrative films I wanted to make. You did.
Okay.
And it kind of confused me at first. I was like, for other people, I mean, like, work on, like, edit somebody's film? Like, what are you talking about? And you said just something that other people need to hear, or that you might want them to hear. And
You want to help them somehow.
Yeah, and that like I said, that really affected me. So I don't think that's, making something that you're interested in is too far off from serving people.
I got you. Well, I appreciate you saying that. Yeah, there's something going on where I know personally, when I feel like I have to say something, it's more from the perspective of, I think you need to hear this. Not, I just want to say this just to be mouthing off. It's no, I feel like I could say something that you need to hear and maybe help you out. Because I guess that's the role of an artist, is no one can tell an artist what to make, but a really great artist will make something with others in mind. It's a weird, I don't know, it's almost a contradiction in a way.
Yeah.
But I would like to try to do that someday with our own content.
Yeah.
What do you think?
And that's, that's a really exciting goal, because the job I had before, I came to you, was a social media company, kind of a culture kind of thing. And number one, it was continually dealing with this idea of there's an audience who wants this.
Oh, yeah.
And then we've got this mission of redefining the South. But then those ended up just being playthings for, well, we just need to make this much money, or we just need an episode to come out this week, or our audience will forget we exist if we don't do this. And very quickly, the machine of that, like, serving an audience. So I haven't really figured out, how do you distribute something original? Because the way they did it was by selling Al Kabooey.
One thing about that,
I don't know.
and something that always strikes me about situations like that is I don't think they actually know the audience. I think they have created an audience, and
It's an ideological thing.
I guess it is.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I feel like the way to know your audience is just to talk to them rather than following Facebook trends. And
that was always so frustrating, is because they were on Facebook, they were on YouTube, and those are social media platforms with issues and problems. And so most of the time, speaking about the audience, they were complaining about them, or why would they say this crazy comment, or can't believe they said this again, or can't believe they like this. I'm going, but you're serving them.
Right.
You're making this for them. And there was this kind of weird, because anyway, I can go more specific. Maybe I should. Anyway, the South.
yeah, you
is-
don't want to speak bad about your company.
I know it was a great place, but I think in their minds they had a mission that was counter to their audience, and that was a constant cycle of disappointment and frustration for them, and made them to do work they didn't like doing, and that was a bad place to be. But also, they were awesome to me and very gracious. It was great.
There's some incredible sweet spot where
Yeah.
you say, what do you need? Okay, I understand what you need because I've listened to you and I really understand it. Now leave me alone and I'll go make it.
Leave me alone.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's hard to find that sweet spot, but we
Also,
are definitely trying to.
To make money as well.
That's good too.
It'd be good to make money.
Yeah.
And like you said with HR and stuff, I mean, we've been in situations now where we make a video, but the video came from an advertising meeting. They don't know anything about video, and they're only interacting with the money side. And they don't even know video, and they see our video as needs to hit these boxes.
Right.
It's not a story. And so I haven't really figured out in the kind of creative distribution, I want to tell a story thing, how do I actually make a place where there's a relationship between the money and the audience and the creative work that actually influences good, creative, inspiring content? I don't know.
Yeah, we don't know.
We don't know.
Do you know? Does Seed know?
Do they know?
We are all
Could you tell us?
on the road
Please
to
tell us.
discovery
Please tell us.
together. But really, as I said before, I think you guys have an admirable understanding and vision, mission, and direction at this point in your company, and it's awesome to hear that
Appreciate it.
from you
Thanks,
guys. I think I want to ask one more question that I think everyone's wondering is, tell us about why it's called Uriel.
Sure. So I was looking for a name for the company, and I was always, part of the thing that we're talking about, artistry, quality, storytelling. It was all, when you see something that you like and moves you, it's like you feel a little fire in your heart.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a little ember burning or something. Something's being kindled. So to me, that was kind of the defining thing between why do I like this and why don't I like this? This thing makes me feel a certain way. This thing doesn't. It's dead. It's ash, a bunch of charred wood. This thing over here is warm and, tingly. Anyway, so I
Speaking
started.
of ASMR,
No ASMR. No,
Use the word tingle. It's all on you, buddy.
it's not real. But I was looking for words that, or something like that, like something that evoked candlelight or a small flame. And I think I was messing around with stuff like, I think candlelight and vigil. Those were some ideas, and
I remember that.
yeah, I mean they're not bad, but
A little generic.
a little generic, definitely. Less confusing than what we went with. But no, it's cool. We get to explain the name all the time. But I don't know how I came across this. I don't remember. But I came across the name Uriel. Actually, I think what it was what if you stopped looking for words and you started looking for names? And I thought, oh, okay, I haven't thought of that yet. So I started looking for names, and I came across this one, and it means the flame or the light of God. Uri is fire, and El is God, Elohim, the highest.
Yeah.
And I just like words. I like breaking down words and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And something about that just, it clicked. I thought, oh, that's really interesting. And I thought back to The Lord of the Rings. Gandalf says he's a servant of the secret fire.
Wow.
I remember that. And the flame eternal. What is that? Gandalf serves the secret fire. The fire that is in the hearts of men. And I just thought that's cool. That seems right to me. And our other partner, Christian, who is not here, he was there before you, by the way.
Whoops.
Yes. So he believed before you.
He did.
Anyway, I think he and I Bad.
'Cause my contribution, there were two names I think I came up with. One was Pirate Ship Media. Another one was Candor Films. Both great names.
Both pretty bad.
Thank you.
Pirate Ship's okay.
Good choice, Seth.
Thank you. Yeah. Most of my job has become just ignoring his suggestions.
No problem.
Just telling him no.
I'm just getting out of the way. Give him selfless.
But anyway, yeah, something about Uriel. Just I like the biblical connection. It's not in the Bible, but it's in the penumbra of the Bible.
Penumbra.
Extra
In
biblical
the
text.
gaps, Uriel exists.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anyway, I just thought it was awesome, and I liked how weird it was. And I like that it's unique and it's not a word that is on people's minds. I think that makes it more memorable.
Yeah.
And I like getting to explain it all the time
Yeah.
because it just creates a memory, I think. Now, one problem is it sounds like urinal.
Yes, my brother called it Urinal Media. You mean Urinal Media?
That is a problem.
Yes.
But I think it's one we can overcome.
We can overcome with time and prayer. And just to be clear, I mean, this whole endeavor, you're talking about the secret flame. I mean, we must name him who must be named. I mean, we're both Christians, and to be very clear, flame of God. We don't have we don't have any of these talents, any of these abilities without
Definitely.
without Christ. And so,
Well, yeah, I
behind
think in Lord of the Rings, the flame eternal is just the Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
The secret fire is just the Holy Spirit. I think Tolkien said that, and that's my concept of the light of God. Is, I mean, he who let light shine. Sorry, 2 Corinthians 4. He who let light shine out of darkness has shown in our hearts the light of the gospel.
yeah,
That's just
yeah.
that means something, and I think that name, in my mind, the name of Uriel is connected to that.
And bizarrely, when I'm a shooter, I'm drunkenly obsessed with just light. I don't know. I don't understand it. I just go.
Well, that could be Lucifer, the light bringer,
Oh,
or
whoops, that could be.
or in
different.
Lord of the Rings,
I'm
Anatar.
serving someone different.
Or in Lord of the Rings, Sauron's angelic form, Anatar, the deceiver.
Ooh, or Saruman, the breaker of the rainbow.
Yeah.
Anyway, many different things it could be, but I'm serving the light in some way.
Okay.
And but I mean, you guys are seed creative. I mean, is seeds biblical?
Oh, yeah.
It is.
Right?
Yeah,
Cool.
definitely.
That's awesome. But yeah. So I think we have to be clear about that as well.
Thank you, Jesus.
Thanks, man.
I think that's a good note to wrap it up on.
Absolutely.
It's been an absolute delight talking with you guys here on the podcast.
awesome, man.
We've worked together.
Some of us have lived together.
Some of us have lived together.
Not
Wait, we didn't get a
Yeah.
chance to talk about the Star Wars prequels.
When's that
Sorry,
going to take
pal.
another segment, another podcast recording?
Now,
Okay.
you guys do have another podcast, correct?
Yeah, you don't have to listen to it.
All right, then.
Yeah, come on, play it.
It's
Seth has spoken.
prequel apologetics.
That's not the one I was talking about.
Yeah, the other work, the new work.
Oh, the new one. Okay, well, there's prequel apologetics if you're into Star Wars
Yeah.
and you want to see people defend the prequels for literally 9 hours at a time.
Why would you not want that?
The other is a new one, a new endeavor called Directed by God, which is, it's new, we're figuring it out, but I think it's a good idea. We're looking at classic films that have a lot to say spiritually. We've done one on The Matrix, and I think it's pretty good, so check it out.
Yeah.
I'm excited for the next one. I know there's another one coming up, and I keep checking Spotify every day to
Yes,
see
sir.
if it's there
We should
yet.
probably edit that soon.
The reason you haven't seen it is we have not done it.
We have not done it yet.
There you go.
We haven't made it.
There you go.
Do you want to do it? No, I'm
Yeah, I don't know.
just kidding.
Anyway,
Wait, I have one important question. Is the new Matrix movie good? Have you seen it?
That's all right. Mileage will vary. It's okay.
It's not very good,
It's okay.
but it's cool.
It's okay.
It's cool. Watch it. Decide for yourself.
Yeah, decide for yourself.
It's one of those films that, like the word Uriel, for instance, it creates an instant division between people, between yourself, and you had to reconcile with it. Don't know what I mean by that, but that's what it is.
but it was said. Well, thank you guys once again.
Thank you.
It's
man.
like I said, it's been a pleasure.
It was fun.
For all you viewers and listeners out there, be sure to subscribe. Keep listening to the Seed Creative Podcast.
Oh, can I plug your website real quick?
Yeah.
Sorry. It's urielmedia.com. And we're another media company. Seed's great. If for whatever reason Seed doesn't work out, call us.
If for some reason you want more of a flame rather than a weak agricultural metaphor, come to us. Nah, you guys are great. It's awesome.
Oh, well, yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure. For
Thanks,
you out
guys.
there, the viewers and the listeners, thank you for watching and listening. Be sure to subscribe and to turn on those notifications. Keep listening to the Seed Creative Podcast. So thanks for joining us. We'll see y'all later.
Peace.
This podcast was produced by Nick Golden with executive producer George Edmondson, edited by Nick Golden and Gavin Manning. Be sure to subscribe, drop a like and a comment. Tune in every Monday for brand new podcast content, and we'll see you on the next one.